Hello, fellow Druids. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to episode 46 of The Keepers of the Gauranlen Grove, which originally streamed live on Twitch August 2nd. This episode and the following 4 episodes after this were all played under patch 1.3.3076. Let's get started. Welcome, everybody. I am in my Yoda shirt. Here it is. Yoda, best dad ever. My Yoda shirt. Alright. So, kicking off here, just a little reminder where we left off last stream, which was just 2 days ago. But of course, for YouTube, that might not be the case. We had started to plan where we are going to be expanding the Gauranlen Grove trees. The thing about this is we don't really have the people to manage said trees. We are trying our very best to add some additional capacity, aka recruit, but we're being very picky about the people we recruit because they need to be plant tenders for us to achieve our victory. I'm starting to... So, up until this point, I've kind of wanted to be like the tree people, but then realizing now that 3 years have passed in game, Randy has cranked up the difficulty to 11, and a kill boxless, robe-wearing druids that aren't particularly psycasting is going to get me killed. So, I still might die. I have no idea if I have enough time to turn the clocks back. We have suffered immensely at the hands of Randy, sending hundreds of raiders at us. I almost wish I had numbers installed just to figure out how many that Bernona has killed, but I guess I could go into records. Yeah, she has killed 114 human likes in 4 years, and 12 mechanoids, so many animals. So she's had to do 86,596 damage in the defense of this grove, and we have an ever-expanding crypt. I think at this point, we need to create a real mausoleum, but that is going to be such a low priority compared to defenses. So let's kick this off to do our best. Another thing to note is that I am, for the posterity of future viewers, I am on branch 1.3.3076. There is a little bit of updates to druids and druid behavior, or rather Dryad behavior, in the pipeline, but that has not yet been released on the main branch. Bernona carries. Yes, she does. Well, I bet most... Yeah, Mara has killed 57. Jazz, probably not too many. 25. Kadath has killed 39. Sed's new, so probably low. 11. And Codsworth, it should be 0. He's a pacifist. I'm not entirely sure how he has dealt damage, but maybe berserking? I don't even know. Who knows? Who knows these things? All right. So what I'm hoping to do is to build this trickle feeder trap. Possibly having this trickle feeder trap before it be a fire trap. Now, we're not supposed to purposefully get any trees destroyed. But given that we have a little bit of a mountain here, I could create a trickled fire trap here. But I'm going to build this first and then think about expanding it. I don't want to plan so far out ahead that nothing gets done. That is definitely a weakness of mine. Weasel here should be joining us pretty soon, I would imagine, given that not too much resistance left. And that's going to be helpful because Weasel is great memory and a doctor. A doctor being important because we are missing some organs. We're missing a kidney, and I suspect more organs to come. Can we bet on the amount of deaths today? Sure, you can bet privately. Predictions don't really work all that well for things that don't happen immediately. So, it's not a perfect platform for distant things that might happen. Read the arts for fallen members? Yes. So I already read Taliesin's, which was boring. here we have Aoifes. So content is Aoife. It's called Vampire. The sarcophagus is engraved with a portrait of Aoife, Isildur, being slain by Dog with incredible strength. Dog is covered in viscera. The work symbolizes failure. Strikingly, the whole image is depicted by the careful arrangement of dozens of otters. Okay. This one is for Eric. The sarcophagus is engraved with an image of a mole eating a turnip. The dynamic structure of the image almost conflicts with its Rococo style. A traitor stands far from the main subject. This one is for Gray. The sarcophagus is engraved with an illustration of stylized banners completely encircling a campsite. Hey, that sounds familiar. A little bit. Gray wears a wild expression. The work conveys the emotions of loss. As an interesting construct, a barracuda stands to the left of the main scene. This portrayal tells the story of Gray's village being attacked by monsters. Okay. And Taliesin's I've already read, but it's about a drop pod touching down. His drop pod. And then last but not least, Vera's, because... Oh no, I have Adriel and Dragons. Adriel's facial... Vera's facial hair, for real. Her epitaph on her sarcophagus is facial hair of a... That seems so unfair. But the sarcophagus is engraved with a representation of a hulking monolith surrounded by molten debris. Vera looks on with excitement. The lower part of the image is dominated by a hamlet. The image contrasts affection with fever. The portrayal tells a story of a meteorite falling near Vera's town. I just got deep drill exhausted, so let's move the steel drill. Maybe here and here. Got it. And some of the other ones. Dragon's Day. So Dragon was with us for all of like, I don't know, a few hours. It was pretty short. Noodle has officially converted, so now Noodle can be released. And you know what this means? We have... Noodle's already been assigned to the shenanigans, but we now have a new pawn. Set to flee. And should already have work everything, because Noodle was already one of us prior to being incarcerated because of the difference of ideologies. Noodle still has a wake-up addiction. So, what about Sed? Sed, too, has a wake-up addiction. I've been leaning into the wake-up. So, Noodle and Sed are going to be drug-free for now. Noodle here, if you're curious, is melee, mining, crafting, bisexual brawler. And we will... Already has a shield belt, so... I believe is bound to this here. Bound to Karen Hatton, which is Noodle. Karen Hatton. And we'll get Noodle to wear that. Maybe after you're over your super duper mood break that is about to cause you insanity. And I'm gonna have you take a lavish meal and then maybe smoke leaf joint, even though you're not assigned to drugs because of your addiction. And last but not least, we have Parabolic for Godlessness, an engraving for Oriana, or Adriel rather. An engraving of this sarcophagus resembles an ocean. A lancer from far from the main subject suggests the concept of harmony. Really? Harmony with a lancer? The hyper-realistic style of the central scene clashes with the erotic depiction of the background. Ooh, an erotic lancer. An erotic, harmonious lancer. I like it. It's very Art Nouveau, edgy, and strange. So we do have one Dryad here, and soon another immature Dryad will spawn in about 17 hours. I am planning on planting the new trees as soon as I can. Oop, Noodle knocking herself out due to the smoke leaf. Well, that's probably for the best, given her current mood. Glitch, thank you for the bits. And yeah, the Karen is free. Sort of. I mean, she's a little high on life to the point where she's unconscious, but she's technically free. The best kind of freedom. Smoked herself unconscious. Yes, yes, she did. We had also mentioned that despite the fact that our plasteel has been exhausted, that we would try our very best. Oh, great. Oh, no, that's not the exit. We would try our very best to construct some uranium-based turrets so that we might be able to better protect ourselves. So that's another thing that is on the docket. Another thing I might do is add straw matting in here. Now, if I did that, these steel doors here would need to be replaced to stone doors, because obviously steel doors is going to be deeply problematic if we are setting things on fire. So let me go ahead and do that. And Kilgore, thanks for gifting out subs. Cheers, man. I appreciate it. I really, really do. Jade doors, same speed as steel, but not flammable. True. The thing is, well, maybe jade door for the front door. The other side doors, the rearming doors, don't open very often, and therefore I don't really need to worry about it as much. And in fact, I might even increase the distance. Now, the thing is, I would only really want to set this on fire after the deadfall traps have triggered, because if you're doing it before, it's a bit of a waste. So, oh, the other thing is this door here was supposed to be our cut through, but I suppose we have other doors here that can act as cut throughs. So this one will be a reloading door, meaning this one can also be a rearming door, not a reloading, rearming. So something like that. And Guero, thank you for the gifted subs as well. Let's hope I deserve them this stream here. I'm forever worried that calamity besets us now, and I have very good reason to believe that that will continue to happen. Fortunately, unless we get sappers or breachers, we do have a perimeter built up. Now, the other thing that I might need to consider is that our rice bait trap that we have set up is going to interfere with this kill box, and that is because the rice is still set up in a box. I'm just adding some more pet hauling, trying to get our little singular carrier to haul some stuff. It's set up in a box behind the deadfall traps, which means that in all likelihood, the deadfall traps are going to be tripped by, you know, animals coming to take the rice. So that's something to consider. Shize, or however I'm supposed to pronounce that name, thanks for the bits and welcome. All right, Bernona is busy cooking lavish meals. I'm going to suspend that so that she can go back to doing things that are a little bit more productive. And I think what I'll do is put NPM for everybody except for the addicts in withdrawal. Sed and Noodle. Actually, it looks like Sed is okay. But no, that's only because of the catharsis. Because I don't want... I want to try to keep as many of our people productive as possible. And having Bernona slave over lavish meals is a terrible waste of time. Another reminder is that we have a psychic suppressor that kicked off here because of the visitors from the Casizo kinship that wandered perfectly straight into that cluster. One of the things I was planning on doing is once I had a full perimeter wall all set up, that will help to thwart animal manhunters from entering my base, is to hit a pulsar that I have here and try to get that thing destroyed the easy way. The easy way being have the animals do it for me. You know, like a true druid. But maybe we don't. I'm honestly, I'm not even sure. Alright. I am going to see if Kadath could be persuaded to make some regular old components for me. If I'm going to get a bunch of plastil mini turrets, and well, that's definitely my plan, at least for now, we're going to want as many components as to be able to construct that. Yeah, Jade is pretty useful as far as if you... Jade makes it for good weapons that do blunt damage, where you're trying to keep the target alive. So, in instances where you are trying to suppress prisoners or slaves, Jade is useful for that. And then Jade is also useful for doors, as it's not non-flammable and beautiful and opens fast. Where are you go? Okay. Yeah, you're going to have one heck of a mental break, Noodle, but I'm just going to allow it. You have so many negative problems right now that we're just going to allow you to go tantrum or whatever you want to do. Lowland and Sebastian, thanks for the resubs. Kicking off yet another tier of the hype train. Thank you all. Here, let me put Yoda on. Hey, buddy. We need Boomalope Dryads. Oh, we have pilgrims. So the pilgrims are here to venerate the relic that I have. And as long as they're uninterrupted, here's my relic. As long as they're uninterrupted, they will have a positive experience and they might give something to me. We will see. I have also accepted the quest for the seed box, which is the next relic. But we haven't made it. We haven't had any follow-up quests related to this for relic info. Not yet. But perhaps that changes soon. Ooh, puppy treats. And Kellyanne, thanks for the bits. Hey, buddy. There you go. Oh, no. Where'd it go? Oh, okay. I found it. He's so derpy. Alright, cargo pods crashing down of smoke leaf. Interesting. Fletch, thanks for bits as well. And JJ for the follow. Alright, Noodle, what is your yield, your mining yield? It is 81%. So, Noodle, I actually don't want you to mine. You walked all the way there to be a hauler. That's not my fault, it's yours. Yes, so the reason why I have, William, the reason why I have the trees ravaged malice or debuff or whatever you want to call it here is because I anti-grain warhead a siege camp, I think that was here, and it wiped out considerable numbers of trees, which then, for obvious reasons, I was blamed for the destruction. I hadn't thought of that when I launched the mortar, but it does mean that mortars are sort of the tool of forest destruction, and in some ways maybe I shouldn't use them as a result. I haven't really thought about if I'm going to continue allowing the use of mortars, because they are obviously tree destructive. Perhaps I pull for it in a bit. Hey, Alpaca, thanks for the bits. You like the Yoda hype? Yeah, only for emergencies. In my instance, in my case, it was definitely an emergency. I was being overwhelmed and overrun. But that's not always going to be true. Lowland, thanks for the gifted subs. Yoda loves it. Okay, they finished venerating the Gauranlen's bond, and they are now leaving. Are there... No, there are no rituals I could take advantage of to try to offset the unfortunate events that occurred with that antigrain warhead. That plasteel next to the base? This? 15 plasteel? Yes. What about it? We'll be turning it into an advanced component pretty soon here, I suspect. Thanks for 305 bits. You're up to 400. Or 500, because I can count. How can he be more cute every time you see him? You should see how he treats me. Hey, buddy. You just gonna settle in there? Hey, dude. He's a... Couldn't get him to eat his breakfast, though. Not today. So the Deadfall Trap Tunnel is getting constructed. One of the things I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to make sure that the fire from the hay trap can't spread too far. Armsatech, thanks for gifting out subs. You just pushed it to a whole new tier. So, with that in mind, I'm going to add some steel around the entrances of the door so that the fire is only contained within the tunnel itself. And whether I add an additional maze chamber here, we'll see if we like the version 1 of the fire trap or not. Said, you failed as a level 8, a employable professional. Well, that's also because you're on wake up withdrawal. Maybe while you have wake up withdrawal, you'll be a hauler for me. You can't fail at hauling. Well, not easily at least. So, Cosworth is over here, trying to maintain 3 Dryads for now. We have Silent Bop and a brand new immature Dryad that has yet to spawn. Quite excited about that. Another thing I might want to do is to include the moss here in home zones. So that A, I can clean up blood, and B, I can make sure to fight any fires that might spread. So Autobongs. About the Autobongs, I don't have a high life or any way to make Autobongs. If you, you would need the meme for that, I believe. And it's not a meme that I have. So they're locked. As far as I know, right? Yeah. I have Bonsai. That's as close to bong as I get. This is coming along. It looks like I need to cut some more sandstone. So let me look around. There's plenty of sandstone to haul. No shortage of it. There's even some sandstone in the grove, and all of that sandstone I'm going to want to haul away. So, pet hauling will now include the sandstone chunks here. Ha! I actually... It might be a problem to have the poplar tree pop up here. It might be invalidating to that, that bait beacon. So I'm going to expand the bait beacon and put... concrete under it, because I actually have a feeling that that poplar tree is breaking the sort of exploit behavior of the bait beacon. Kind of funny. Nothing like being trolled by a tree. Alright. So at this moment, I'm just adding as much as I can to the pet haul zone, as I do think that pretty soon we will have more animal haulers, like Silent Bob, who basically works full-time to haul stuff, to haul whatever we ask to be added to the haul zone. That Donovan, and Emster, Zardus, and Kadath, thanks for the bits and the resubs. Let's rebuild. Amen, brother. Amen. I'm trying. We're just about done with a full perimeter wall, which will be cathartic, to say the least. And then once we have the full perimeter wall, I think next we'll be pushing towards the uranium for more mini turrets. So you have Codsworth and Kadath digging at the uranium. And then another thing I'm going to have to do is to add the sandstone stone cutting. Now, sandstone is very arguably a terrible stone for defensive purposes, so this is not like a not an ideal defense setup that I got going on here with the sandstone, but it's what we can afford. If you have a mixed ideology colony and all your original members die, does the colony switch? No, I think you keep your ideology, but you just have no way to spread it. But I could be wrong about that. However, a few patches ago, they did make it so that the conversion chances and effectiveness when you only have 1 or 2 members of your original ideology, they become very capable at converting. So if we wanted an Autobong, for instance, if there was another ideology out here that had high life, I could build the Autobong if I added them to our colony, as then with them present, the Autobong would be unlocked to me, but currently that is not the case. I don't have... no one on this planet has high life as a, an acceptable ideology. Pet Yoda? This guy? Hey, dude. I think it's probably about time to tackle the power grid that got burned up back here. I think what I'll do is I'll put a granite door in there and a granite wall around it like this, increasing the the platform that it's built upon, and get this stuff rebuilt. So that will be yet another project. The High Stellarch. Appa. Yep. Appa just died, and they replaced it with Paro. Okay, we have 8 days of this suppressor left. Till it kicks on. I'm not really in any rush to deal with that, to be perfectly honest. I feel like 8 days is a long time on the Rim, and it's possible that it's not an issue for us. So Bernona, still trying to get that perimeter wall done. Good for you, girl. We're just about, let me turn off the ground pen, out of power, which is why I'm prioritizing the additional pad for solar. A little worried about having more brownouts. That wouldn't really be good for anyone. Given the season, perhaps it makes more sense to unroof the inside of the geothermal, so it's not heating us up. Not at least too much. Okay. There we go. I like to see that. Sed, are you crafting for me? You seem to be... Okay, I see. Sed was never the crafter. Maybe Noodle? No, Sed should be crafting. So what is going on with the stonecutter's table? I get the... Yeah, let me increase the radius for sandstone so that Sed and whoever else is assigned to crafting helps with that. And we have an Exoticos trader flying overhead. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a meta when it comes to dealing with the mood breaks that are a result of prisoner poor treatment. So it is in your best interest if you're trying to convert a prisoner to make it as uncomfortable as possible for them so that they suffer as many crises of faith as possible for conversion purposes, and then as soon as they convert, improve their lot in life, improve the quality of their accommodations. And we have a climate adjuster quest. I'll take a look at that in just a moment. So Exoticos is first, and my best warden would be Mara. So let's have Mara remove some of the additional roof, and then see if there's anything for us to buy. We don't have a lot of silver, just shy of 500. Ooh, tech prints for Cataphract, always very spicy. We also have a medical trainer a skill trainer for medical, which would be important as well. We have the kidney that we're waiting to do installations to, and oh man, this is painful. The quality of this Exoticos trader and my complete inability to afford anything they're offering brings me sadness. Because there's not really anything I'm willing to sell or part with. Alright, bite the bullet. Just pass on that. That's a bummer. What the heck happened to your moss, dude? I sometimes don't really... I mean, I think this is a bug. This tree has been very well pruned and maintained, and then all of a sudden the moss is just like, poof, gone. And that happened to this tree originally as well. So we have a climate adjuster quest. It is a climate adjuster being guarded by raccoons and a possible additional unknown threat. The climate adjuster would almost certainly be colder, not warmer, because we live in a cold climate. So what do we accept the climate adjuster? Yeah, the moss grows every month or two, or dies every month or two. It's supposed to grow back. Well, we'll see. I understand that like 100% grown plants are supposed to then, you know, they have their own like life cycles or whatever, but I feel like a lot of the stuff in ideology is a little buggy, just a little. Not a deep complaint, but I do feel like there's some issues here or there. Okay, so here's that brownout I was wanting to avoid. We're almost done with this wall. All the doors are pretty expensive. They're getting there. And then if we want more power, what I could do is prioritize Bernona to work on the additional solar that's over here. I'm not sure why she's going around. What is this? You know this is... Here, just build this door. She's like glitching out, running around the door. What was the question about the new feature from 1.3? I missed the referenced chat there. Oh, and I never put a timer over that. You don't have to unroof your stockpile to allow the trade beacon to function, correct, but you do have to unroof it for the goods to land where I've designated them to land. I probably know more about trade beacon function than anyone else that plays. Not a flex, I've just spent a lot of time staring at the code. So I would explain this, but I have a pin on my Discord that explains what I'm doing here, which explains better than how I can. So let me just share that pin with you all, or the referenced image of how trade beacon bait beacons work. So here is the referenced image. Essentially, there is a type of pod drop attack that targets your trade beacons. And they will target trade beacons based upon whether or not they're roofed up and the age of said beacon. So I set up my beacons so that anytime my trade beacon is targeted for said attack, they drop at a bait beacon, which is not in the middle of my base, rather than dropping into my my stockpile. So if you have ever had attackers drop into the middle of your stockpile, you don't need to have that happen. That is optional, and you can set up your bait beacons to disallow for that to occur. Just to let you know, using that that flow chart there. The TLDR is essentially the pod drop raiders will target the oldest unroofed trade beacon, so that has a empty spot next to it. So this trade beacon here, this trade beacon is the oldest installed trade beacon, but because it's roofed up, pod drop raiders will prefer this one. But I need to make some changes to this one to make it valid again, because the empty spot next to it got filled up with a poplar tree. And then the reason why I unroofed this briefly is if I didn't unroof this, any trades that I make would end up landing here, because your trade pods will require unroofed trade beacon access. So if I bought something, and I can prove this real quick, if I bought something without roofing up, or without removing the roof, if there's still the trade to be, asked for, whatever I buy or whatever I sell, the results will go here unless the roof is removed. And then, as soon as the roof is removed here, any pod drop raiders would raid into my stockpile. They would prefer this beacon over that one, which is then why I roof it up when I'm done, because this presents a vulnerability when unroofed. I hope I've explained that as well as I can, but I can prove it. But before I do that, what reward should I accept? 1, 2, oops, that's not how to type that. 1, 2, 3. So showing you the rewards again, we've got an Eltex vest and silver, an Eltex helmet, a Marlborough sculpture, a pain stopper, and goodwill. So the reward number 1 is valued the highest, reward number 2 in the middle, and reward number 3 the least, but it has goodwill. So here is the proof of that. If I sold something for silver, let's say I sell 1 Neutromine, the silver, or bought 1 Neutromine, it lands outside. Now the reason why I didn't land over here is there's no space next to this. So currently I'm running dangerously. If I didn't want to run dangerously, I would have to fix this this bait beacon, because it got broken essentially by the poplar tree. I should have put concrete in there, but I can have Mara fix that. And the Exoticos is gone, so I can't even demonstrate the full functions. So what it should be is unroofed, an adjacent tile like this. And now this is a valid drop point for pod drop raiders. Again. But it's also now a valid drop point for trades. So next time I have an orbital trader... Oh. Just for real? Another fault. And it's only a 200 watt fault. That's funny. It's like, oh no. Oh lord. Okay, looks like you guys want reward number 3. Interesting, considering I guess I'm technically allied with the Fallen Empire, but we're never going to hold royal favors, so. Alright, let's accept that. And close the poll. Hey, buddy. And here's the site. It is going to be making it colder, I'm assuming. And the rewards for making it colder, which gives me a marble statue, which I can put blocking the TV somehow. There we go. Lovely. So here was the result. This is exactly what I was talking about. Because this is roofed up completely, it now prefers this beacon for trades, which is why my rewards are dumped over here. It is the result, of course, of the protections that the beacon offers, but it's a small price, in my opinion, to pay for not having pod drop raiders land in the middle of your stockpiles. So, the verbose explanation for the ntth time, but that is why I roof and unroof my trade beacons. And had I had the foresight to remove like a 3x3 square around this beacon here before the quest was completed, the rewards would have landed in my stockpile. But I didn't do that, so oh well. Taking a look at... I am going to try to become a better friend to the Exoticos kinship, whatever they're called. So what I'm going to be doing is sending them every little pitiful weapon I don't want that's taking up room in my stockpile. And ones specifically that cannot be smelted down. I will also send them beat up clothing, you know, the hand-me-downs, and hope to instill a sense of friendship with them, which I feel entitled to. Pain Stopper. I don't need a Pain Stopper, so I'm going to give that to them as well. I can make Pain Stoppers, and Jazz, who is the only wimp in the colony, already has one. I'm also going to gift the... Now, let's keep the bedrolls. Okay. That'll work. Sorry to make me explain again. Oh, I don't mind at all. I absolutely don't mind. If you have any questions about any of the weird, like, things that I do, sometimes I'm just doing it wrong. And then sometimes there's actually a good explanation as to why I do it. And that is exactly why I have these stream tags that I have. I have the tutorial and backseat gaming allowed because I prefer when people ask those questions. I've spent far too much time in RimWorld to hoard all of the secrets to myself. Why does the Pain Stopper only matter with a wimp? So wimps, when they experience pain, will topple over, right? So Jazz here is a wimp, and his pain shock threshold is decreased by 60%, which means that any little bit of pain and he's out of the fight, which is a bit of a problem when you have gutworms. So a few streams back, he had gutworms, or she, sorry, had gutworms, and the gutworms made her basically unconscious 24/7 until the gutworms subsided. The reason why I don't tend to install Pain Stoppers into everyone is there is a negative consequence, which is actually true of the very rare people that have the inability to experience pain. It's an actual medical condition. There was even a James Bond villain that couldn't experience pain. But the negative consequences of that is, well, things that should have caused you to lose consciousness or extreme injuries you are not necessarily aware of. So the problem and the reason I don't install Pain Stoppers into everyone is your pawns will basically fight until they're unrescuable. So normally when you're injured in a fight in RimWorld, your bleed out timer will be somewhere between, I don't know, like 15 hours and 6 hours, because you lose consciousness due to the pain before you bleed out. Someone that has Pain Stoppers installed will tend to fight until their very last breath. which can be really good if it's your last stand. Basically, if your colony's being entirely overrun and you have no hope of survival, and if losing consciousness means you die and lose, okay, yeah, Pain Stoppers are great in that isolated instance. Most of the time, what ends up happening is your Pain Stopper installed pawns will fight to the brink of death, giving you a bleed out timer of seconds, you know, or 2 hours or something like that. That actually just recently happened right at the start of this episode. Jazz was seriously injured because Jazz was being attacked by a warg while on a psychotic break from last stream, and essentially refused to lose consciousness because of the Pain Stopper. Jazz didn't realize that she was bleeding nearly to death, and I had to have Bernona go in there, grab Jazz, and jetpack out of there as fast as I could, pulling another doctor in, because Jazz basically was walking around not realizing she had 3 hours to live because of the Pain Stopper, whereas almost every other pawn would have lost consciousness. It's actually one of the reasons why in isolated instances, I really actually like animal tamers that are wimps, because if you're trying to tame dangerous animals, animals like a Thrumbo, that if you fail at the tame, they'll thrash you to death, a wimp will just topple over at the first stomping. So there is the, of course, chance that the Thrumbo bites your head off on the first attack, but more than likely it will just stomp you when you fail at taming, and you'll flop over like you're a soccer player, and it will actually spare you from mortal damage. So, you know, wimp can be helpful sometimes, but most of the time it's annoying. And there is yet another verbose explanation as to why I do not install Pain Stoppers much, because I'm scared of them. TLDR, I find them scary. Alright, we are going to need to expand our home zone, because goodness, it is not correct. The home zone in here is going to be a little weird. If I ever purposely set this stuff on fire, I'm obviously going to have to deprioritize firefighting, or every pawn that I have is going to sprint into the fire tunnel and get themselves burned. One of the other things that I could do in this, if it was a longer tunnel, is aim for superheat. So what you could do, if you have a trickle feeder trap like this, and you have doors at either end, doors that you can swing shut quickly, you might be in a scenario where you can close both doors if your trap is long enough, and cause it so that the air inside the trap superheats. And that might be something we design sometime in the future. Oh my god, you are ripping fingers off of the Keebler elf here. I know you're a brawler, but like, leave the digits on, man. Since when am I scared of anything? Nah, scared might be the wrong term, but I think you know what I mean. Alright, how was that berserk? Treating you well, huh? So, Weasel here has a 0.5 resistance. We'll be recruited in probably today or tomorrow. And then Kubler here was essentially an unwilling organ donor that we were keeping around. Not one that we had any interest in recruiting, but someone that we wanted to execute for mood at some point. So when the public execution is off cooldown, you better believe that's what I intend to do. Could you just get rid of this? Here, Bernona, come help. It's in the way. Thunk. How much steel do we have? We have 266 steel. Not much. Alright, I am going to need to have Bernona open up the jade door here. Oh, because there's a weather controller. I wonder what kind of force weather it is. Rainy thunderstorm. Hey, you know, I'm gonna take advantage of this rainy thunderstorm to wash out all this blood. So thank you, pirates, for really just giving me the opportunity to clean the perimeter of my base. I appreciate it immensely. Of course, removing roofs take a while, so that kind of sucks, but whatever. I don't have to clean blood, so I think it's slightly faster this way. And now we have 2 reasons to go outside. We have a climate adjuster and a weather controller. One with 12 raccoons and one with 10 enemies. So perhaps we have to go on a little bit of a headhunt soon. I would very much like to get the wake-up withdrawal addictions recovered first, because I think there's a high likelihood of mental breaking within the colony, which would be a problem. Especially if a lot of my people are away. Natural power washing? Yeah. I don't particularly care for listening to storms for that long though. But at least it's not dry thunderstorm. That would have been a lot more destructive to trees. So count the blessings. So I think this area is too large of a space to be calculated as indoors or anything, but it technically should be at this point. And I'm gonna go back to granite, because we pretty much have all the sandstone that we need. And there's also a lot of blood around the butcher table. There is. There is. Here's Bernona doing her best. Space drone intel hack. So I've already demonstrated one of the intel hacks. Obviously I'm going to accept this one as well. Mara would be an extraordinarily fast hacker. But with that said, I'm going to want to wait until I don't have wounded and mental broken pawns, because that's not going to make it easier to hack anything. So, I like the opportunity, but I have to wait on it a minute. And those don't go away. You can accept them whenever you want, but as soon as you accept them, the space drone lands, and then you're forced to defend it. You like raccoons? You don't want them killed? You know, it's possible to get in and get out, especially with Bernona and her jetpack, before we actually have to kill the raccoons. They're guarding the climate adjuster, but they're not necessarily going to prevent us from going in the door. So we'll see. I'll see if I can't deal with them more nicely. One of the other advantages of a rainy thunderstorm is we're going to have pretty constant wind turbine power as a result. And Weasel is resistance broken, so Weasel will be raffled quite soon, I'd imagine. I'm also trying to get rid of all the bones of prior dead animals, so I have Silent Bop hauling them in. So we're going to have 2 things to raffle. We're going to have an immature Dryad in about 2.5 days, and then Noodle probably sometime tomorrow. So that's cool. Although this will cause a bit of ugliness, I'm going to... You know what? I'm fine with the dimensions of the base. I don't think I'm going to remove anything. What I will do is I will concrete up the pad here so that we don't get trees inside of the geothermal generator. But everywhere outside, I'm now honestly fine if trees grow. It's not a big deal to me. You wonder how ideology would affect Frost and Fire? It was never really designed for ideology in mind, so I have no idea if it would even be the remotely compatible. I'd imagine that it probably wouldn't be, which is why I haven't updated it to 1.3 or support it in that way. And Weasel. Alright, well, if you are a subscriber of mine, that makes you eligible to get Weasel named after you. Let me put up the timer. Done. There it is. And I will be raffling Weasel off to one of you, lucky few, in 5 minutes' time. So here's to Weasel. Another thing I'm going to want to do is... Alright, let's take a look at Weasel. You are Weasel Cat. Interesting. Great memory, trigger happy, and pretty. If you're trigger happy, I'm definitely going to give you a chain shotgun, no doubt. Let's give you some other assignments. So, herbal medicine, nutrient paste meals on scheduled drugs, and you are our new doctor, so you're going to get some herbal medicine on you. The other thing I wanted to do is to do the surgery for Kadath. Kadath here needs a kidney surgery, and we had stripped or removed a kidney of a recent captee, and I am going to have Weasel pretty much immediately hit up that surgery. That's one of the reasons why we brought him in. Who's starting it? Oh, Codsworth? No. So let's adjust the work priorities here. Animal handler, hunter, for trigger happy, that's fine, and another researcher, which is really good. Alright, Weasel's going to be using Glitterworld medicine for the best possible outcome, and here goes the kidney. If this kidney doesn't take, haha, the corpses got struck by lightning. If this kidney doesn't take, Kubler here has some other kidneys, doesn't he? We're keeping our little kidney organ farm going. A little dark, but that's how it goes. The tree in the hospital that refuses to die. The lifespan of these trees here is like over 2 RimWorld years. 135 days. A RimWorld year is 60 days, so 135 days is kind of a long time in RimWorld time. And Kadath has his kidney, so now he's just missing a toe. So if we take a look at the injuries that everybody has, Bernona and Mara are fully good. Jazz here, she is missing toes, fingers, thumbs, so she would need 3 limbs replaced. Kadath, a toe. Sed's good. Weasel's good, just got recruited. And then Noodle is good as well, just addicted. Codsworth is good as well. Drill and Field Hand. Alright. Good progress there. So we have the deadfall traps. One of the things we don't have yet is the uranium mini guns, the mini turrets. We have 159 plus 290 uranium. So that is the next thing I want to build, is the uranium mini turrets. So I'm going to set those up to be manufactured here in the stockroom, so that we don't have to go running around for materials. And what is that? 450-ish. I didn't really do my math here, but it's about 450 uranium. So 30, 180. I'll just keep making them. I need defenses. Will Western settlers have decent prosthetics? No, not really. Prosthetics that you might expect in the 1860s or so. 1840s, something like that. But, so, essentially, no. Not a whole lot of prosthetics for Western settlers. Some. More than RimWorld offers, but less than, like, EPOE offers. Alright, the contents. Let's go try to get this gift bag going. I want to send this pod out, lower my wealth, and try to build up yet another ally. I really like the idea of having a bunch of allies I can call on, because we've been overwhelmed considerably in the past. Okay, it is raffle time. Mr. Johns, congratulations. You are the Weasel. Whatever name you want, just let me know. And I'll get it appropriately set up. I'm also doing a little bit of a redesign here for the geothermal generator so that it doesn't bleed heat and we can actually set it up properly. So it's getting a bit of a different perimeter here, as you can see. Thank you for tuning in to the Keepers of the Gauranlen Grove, which originally aired live on Twitch August 2nd, playing version 1.3.3076. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. Keep in mind that the series has since ended, and also I was playing a historical version of RimWorld and not the up-to-date one. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timer to upcoming streams. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope to catch you in the next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, everybody.